Fooly Cooly is a series that captured my heart. Throughout every episode, the beautifully stylized OVA creates a fast-paced, entertaining, and bizarre aesthetic. This anime is basically what it looks like when a team of talented writers and artists have total freedom to go wild and do whatever they want. If you've heard of Fooly Cooly, you've heard about the amazing band behind its music, The Pillows, as they've become pretty synonymous with the series. This band is one of the things that makes Fooly Cooly so special, as most anime to that point didn't really have contemporary bands make their soundtracks. I think the reason I enjoy the music so much is because it captures that feeling of growing up in the zeros. Do people call it that? The 2000s, whatever. For me, Fooly Cooly is amazing because the dialogue, character interaction, and story progression, in a way, emulates that feeling from real life that I can only crudely explain. It's how, in real life, every person around you has their own situations and problems, and how each of them deals with them in their own different way. Between robot fights, weirdly sexual scenes, and divorce scandals, this 6-episode series has a lot to tell. Although as out of this world Fooly Cooly seems, it accurately depicts the real world. As many of us were, or still are, the kids, tweens, and teens of this series are all somewhat obsessed with the concept of growing up. As a result, they constantly try to pretend to act grown up to feign maturity. The story focuses on Naota, a kid that desperately wants to be grown up, and despite a lot of shit going around him, he's bored with his town because nothing really happens. Lucky for him, a Vespa riding woman arrives into town and bonks his head with a bass guitar. Naota pretends to like sour drinks to seem mature. He rejects anything that seems childish to him and acts nonchalant. He's self-conscious about his family, county, and the lumps on his head. Worst of all, chasing his goal of becoming grown up, he falls in love with Haruhi, who is really only using him for his NO. Ninamori is a similar character because she also wants to appear mature to others. Despite the divorce scandal between her mother and her father, she acts as if she doesn't care about it, and adults mistake this ignorance for maturity. But of course, Ninamori is only pretending to dismiss the situation, as she actually deeply cares about her parents. In fact, she cares about her parents so much she's willing to participate in an otherwise embarrassing play, and even rigs the votes to get the lead role and get her parents to come together to see her. We know this because it parallels with Mamimi's thoughts on school plays, and because she briefly mentions it during her fight with Naota. Coincidentally, the same fight that leads her to admit that she's just a kid.
I used to be in school plays. It was really dumb and embarrassing. But I was kind of happy too. Mom and Dad both came to see me together, so it's a good memory.
I'm not going to let you go home.
I don't want to do the play, I told you that.
It's already been decided.
Why are you so uptight about it?
Everyone's going to see it.
A few people are going to see it.
I want them to see it.
'Cause you're a show-off.
My parents are going to see it together.
School plays are for little kids.
We are kids, including you.
Ninamori realizes that she must be true to herself and express her feelings to her parents. Naota, on the other side, takes a bit more time to come into terms with his situation. This is maybe because he doesn't really have anyone to look up to, as every grown-up around him has let him down. But eventually, he begins to be more honest about his feelings, and just in time to save the world from Haruhi. Taking all this into context, we see there's a common theme between the kids in Fooly Cooly. Actually, except one of them, Mamimi. Out of all the kids in Fooly Cooly, I think Mamimi is the one that is most true to herself. Though as a result, she's kind of destructive because she doesn't know how to deal with her feelings. Even the adults aren't true to themselves, as they're all pretending or acting in some way or another. I.e., some pretend to not be affected by spicy curry, some pretend to know how to use chopsticks, and others pretend to be manly by sticking nori on their eyebrows. Yeah, Mamimi doesn't know how to cope with her emotions, but at least she's herself from start to finish. She's genuine, and we can see this clearly throughout the series. She disliked her school, so she set it on fire. She got bullied, so she got her robot dog to eat their bikes. And she liked taking photos, so she set out on her own to become a photographer. Irresponsible as hell? Yeah. But the girl has some initiative, man. She acts on her feelings, and I look up to her as a character because of it. Through these characters, Fooly Cooly has taught me that we're never really done growing up. Growing up is less about being adults and more about realizing that life is easier if you drop the mask and begin to understand your feelings. Also, Adults don't have any idea what's going on either. They're all just pretending.